The G20 summit kicks off for the next 2 days in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Key topics expected to dominate the discussions include free trade policies and the ongoing climate crisis.
G20 정상회의가 브라질 리오데자네이루에서 오늘부터 이틀간 열립니다. 자유무역주의 그리고 기후 위기가 주요 화두로 테이블에 오를 것으로 전망됩니다. Okay, so we've got the G20 in Brazil.
Yes.
Tell us more. Who are attending this year?
Well, the G20 are the 20 countries with the biggest economies in the world, right? And so among those, there are going to be a lot of leaders from Asia, Europe, and the Americas, including President Yoon Suk-yeol from South Korea,
Okay.
President Lula, of course, from Brazil, President Xi Jinping of China, President Biden of the U.S., and Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor of Germany, are kind of the biggest leaders that we kind of the big players, right?
big players,
the
right.
biggest players. But of note, Putin of Russia will not be there.
Which is not surprising.
Yeah, a little not surprising. He is sending instead the Russian Minister of Foreign Affairs.
But what is this about Africa?
Yes.
Yes.
So the African Union will be sending representatives for the first time. They will be attending. So Africa 연합이
Oh, very
처음으로,
good. Okay,
예,
so that's
참석할
notable.
거예요.
Okay. And what are some topics for discussion? What are they going to be really seriously talking about?
So as we talked about in the news item, they'll be talking a lot about free trade policies and, as always, the climate crisis.
Right.
That seems to be an issue every time we have one of these big summit meetings, right? But in particular with the free trade, specifically because Donald Trump recently became the U.S. president-elect.
Right.
And he has said that he will put more taxes and
On
more
imports.
tariffs on imported items.
Right.
So the international community is wanting to show signs of support for free trade.
Free trade. Because he's more about trade protectionism.
Yes, trade protectionism.
Right. Okay. All right. So we'll see how it goes. Now, the G20,
Yes.
what does that G stand for?
Yes.
Is it global? Because I feel like it could be global.
Right. This is something that even a native speaker, you
Yeah.
hear G20.
We know G20, but like, what does G stand for?
Yeah.
G가, yeah.
It's 무슨 G죠?
무슨 G죠?
Yeah. So in this case, the G stands for group.
Group 20.
So it's Group 20, the Group 20 Summit.
Summit.
But usually we just say the G20 Summit.
Okay. And summit is spelled S-U-M-M-I-T.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, we'll see how that goes. Let me read that one more time. The G20 summit kicks off for the next 2 days in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Key topics expected to dominate the discussions include free trade policies and the ongoing climate crisis.